Hello and welcome to the Atlas breakdown tutorial. The Atlas class ships are the second class of ships that you'll unlock. They're a little different than all the other ships, the main thing being I think they were the last ships added to the game before launch. So they got some different layouts and features, mainly being the nacelle thrusters on the backs of them. Uh, you'll get a couple of them with several different layouts and stuff like that. What you want to do first is get off all your exterior stuff.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
And I find it best to do the nacelles first because they're usually, if especially on the lighter ships, if you do them last, they might push your ship around when they break apart.
Salvage registered.
Uh,
Transferring credits.
so having the weight of the ship hold everything in place while they split apart is very handy. So yeah, I usually handle the nacelles first. Just quickly remove these safety plating. There it goes again. I'm pretty sure that's giving me major radiation every time that goes off. So later, sometimes you'll get these coolant pods in there, you know, usually worth grabbing. Uh, and this is the first ship that might actually take you 2 shifts to fully break it down if you're one of those people that want to get all five rankings of the unlock. So then it becomes a race after you get those back things off, the thruster components. You gotta go ahead and burn these off and your fuel lines will start catching on fire. So go ahead, pull it out, let the tether do the rest of the job. Now if you're quick enough and you don't stick to the fire too long, you can usually get past it without taking damage. But if you do, just keep moving forward. The trick is to definitely get to that lever, the switch to turn off the fuel. So you just want to do each one of these as fast as you can. I think the most that come up on a ship is 4. This model has 2, so we lucked out there. Okay, we'll just fix that later. But alright, and we catch fire. Remember, you use Z to quickly hold on to things and pull yourself forward. Alrighty. So we'll go ahead, get that in the barge. Okay, so they're off. Sometimes they'll be stuck in between here, so I'll just leave them. They go into your processors. There's some lights on them. And we want to make sure we get everything else off here.
Salvage deposit confirmed. Applying credits.
And the same with the other ships. The first thing after the outside of the ship is we want to decompressurize this. This being a hazard level 9, they're always pressurized. When your early ships, you might get lucky and only a room or none of it be pressurized. But they're usually not that big of a deal. We got some weight still, even with the nacelles loosened like that. So if we just gotta find our working, this one's good. How much is this gonna do?
Air pressure level decreasing.
Alright, that's fine. Hey. Let's get there. Don't have. And the one on the wall controls the bottom one. Should be okay. Alright. We're good. Well, I like to take them off at the front first. want to be a little careful. Then don't forget these top ones. They'll be on both sides. Usually have fuel containers and coolants here, so you want to be a little more careful than usual. Otherwise, you'll blow up something you won't want to. But there's not so many contact points that you gotta worry about trying to get as many as you can. If you can, go ahead. If not, just go ahead, give everything a slight push, and then we'll be good. Get that rolling. Then we go ahead, line tool,
Processor deposit accepted.
and
Credits
quickly
awarded.
take off the sides. Level 1 reactors. They'll either be right there or they'll be hanging right there depending on the model of ship.
Applied.
Either location's good. Had it been in the middle room, you would have just undid the floor here and then pushed it down. Once you got this out of the way, get back here, you battery. Alright.
Accepted. Credit applied.
This is such a small one. I think I can do it in a shift. Once you start getting it apart, usually don't do the lights.
Secured. Applying credit. Deposit accepted for
Alright.
processing.
Now before I forget, I should take off this and use your line tool to quickly burn the front panels, because your windows always go into the furnace. Not a big deal, but if you got the time, go ahead, throw it in. Pull this a little forward to get it off the aluminum frame. And then bam.
Salvage secured.
The ship is
Credit
mostly
deposit.
nanocarbon. They favor, especially with the nacelles being all nanocarbon, that's where a large chunk of money's gonna be. So we need to get the rest of this
Salvage
off
deposit secured.
now that we're already light enough that we're just flailing around the ship with the
Credits
tether tool. When it's when it's lower level ones and you're not as okay, you know what? That's pressurized. I forgot that's okay. We can fix this.
Deposit confirmed. Applying credit.
Go ahead. Do the inside.
Airlock depressurizing.
Yeah. And then there we go. Alright. So you wanna just make sure that you go ahead and get any major valuables out of the way first.
Salvage accepted. Credit applied.
Peeling it away is a good way to do all ships, so your first step's usually getting off all your nanocarbon in the exterior of the shell, and then everything else comes after that. But especially if you want to go with the strategy of nearly salvaging the full ship load. So now we're good there. Once they're a little heavy, you can use more than one tether, get it going a little faster. You want to try to not turn it over, but early on when I didn't get off the
Salvage registered. Transferring
front of the ship, got it tilting over, but they're really not that big on the inside. You just got these 4 chambers here plus your bridge, which makes it, as I said, a pretty light ship that's mostly nanocarbon
valuable
heavy.
object accepted for processing.
And now that we're here, we want to go ahead and get these nacelles out of our way.
Rewards allocated.
and they'll get over most of the way. They might fall into the furnace, so I like to give them a little push sometimes. Get them favoring the processor side.
5 minutes left, Cutter. All good?
Yep.
Good. Valuable
And then once you
object
get your nacelles in there,
deposited.
that might be an entire rank. See, we got this one trying to fall into the furnace. Alright. They're just in that sweet spot range where usually their weight's pushable even by a mid-rank grappler. If you want to cut them half with a charge, you can, but I find most of the time
Applying credits
it's
to
not worth
account.
it. Here's where you want to be careful because these will blow up on you.
Salvage secured. Applying credit.
I usually just aim up high and then pull the whole thing down. If you want to be cautious about it, you could go ahead and remove the gas canisters
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
and throw them in separately, and then that's a lot safer. But that's slower, so go ahead, careful with your cuts, and then you can just chunk the whole
Salvage
thing.
secured. Account credit applied.
Posters, throw them on the barge or pick them up if you want them for your hab. Couple variants of this will have a lot of electrical components in the top section of the hab. So what we want to do is definitely get all of these. These are the if you're missing wires for your the little ship that you have to repair, this is quite a good ship to do it with because it's got a lot of computers right in one section. So if you want to go ahead, navigation terminals.
Salvage deposit registered. Account credited. Salvage goal met. Rewards will be paid.
Now it's all about trying to get as much of it done within the allotted time.
Salvage deposited. Applying credit to account.
Alright, out of tethers. You know what? I do want to get more.
Process a valuable object. Credits awarded.
Welcome to Vindatron 9000. Thank you.
I think we're good on fuel. I don't think we're going to run out. But the Atlas ships are valuable. But as I said, depending on which model you get, it's definitely going to take 2 ships. Especially the ones with 4 nacelles. The amount of time it takes to just get through doing each nacelle.
Salvage registered.
We'll just add the time on. These radiation shields filters are heavy on their own, so you do want to get them removed. Where am I attached? Am I attached anywhere weird? Maybe this roof is holding it on.
1 minute left on the clock, Cutter. 1 minute.
Alright, and we want to go ahead. Get everything out of the way. You could throw the rest of it in the barge and hope for the best, but if you want to go ahead and be meticulous, usually you won't lose too much money, especially if you're a little slower and you only get barely to rank 3. But we'll go ahead and use a second day. Get, all of the ship. but you know, even in a single shift, if you're fast enough, you can
Applying credit.
don't you can get it all.
Salvage secured.
All right,
Account credit applied.
let's not make any mistakes and just let the clock run out on us. And that's an Atlas breakdown within a day. If you were happy with that shift, or you can go ahead and grab a new one.
Good morning, Cutter 9346-22.
Early on, you probably would have earned
Lynx
enough
would like
to
to share
upgrade
the
your
following
equipment, but
inspirational
we're good
message.
here.
The greatest
So let's
reward
go
in
ahead and
life is
start
the
our next
chance to
shift.
work hard at work worth doing.
Pull yourself towards it. And we don't got much left of this ship. Let's figure out what's holding it on, though. What's
Salvage
holding
deposit
you on?
accepted. Credits transferred.
Alrighty.
Salvage accepted. Credit applied.
You know what? I think it might be this here. Yeah, okay. You know what? Should have just done this in the first place. Bloop. Huh. What is holding you on? Okay, yeah. So that was holding it on. So these extra thin ones, when you do use your laser, they'll evaporate like a contact point. So if you want to quickly get through a bunch of them, you can take the corners of one and just
Salvage
slice it
secured.
and
Credits
just burn it if
deposited.
you're not worried about it. But alright. So we don't got a whole lot of this ship left.
Salvage deposit secured. Credits awarded. Processor deposit accepted. Credits awarded.
I like separating the bridge and the hull of the ship. Entirely your preference, but usually that gets light enough just to get pulled by one. And then had you been fast enough, you could have just thrown this down into the barge and gotten the rest of the credits.
Salvage secured. Applying credit. Salvage goals fully completed. Rewards assigned.
And there we go. But let's go ahead and get 100%. We got plenty of time left on the clock. But the Atlas is probably the first ship that will help you. If you can get good at the Atlas, the other two ships, the Javelin class and what are they called? Geckos, you'll follow a similar philosophy. One more computer. And we'll get you thrown in here.
Transferring credit.
Then you can go at full speed. There we go. And bam, 100% of the ship is done. Nah, maybe 99. Never really 100%, but you know what? We won't count that. That's just space debris. And there you go. Breakdown of the Atlas class ships. If you want ones that are a little bit more profitable, definitely select definitely select a model that has 4 nacelles on it. Those thruster components are actually worth quite a bit. So if you're just worried about early game,
Hello,
uh,
Shipbreaker. Please
maximizing
enjoy
your
this
profit
inspirational
for
message.
each
The last
day,
10% of a job takes as much
you
energy as
definitely
the
want to
first
select an
90%,
Atlas class ship
which is why it's so important to always
that
give 110%.
that has 4 nacelles. There's about 3 different styles, maybe 4, of the Atlas. One we are doing, the scout patrols, are probably the most simple, with only their two thruster nacelles, and then all the other ones. There's ones with 4, and this definitely has, and then another one with I think 3, with them in like a triangle shape, but they break down exactly the same way. It's just these are a little worth a little more since they definitely have a lot more components than your scouts do. But I think the first style it throws at you is your scouts. So that's definitely here we go. Here's another one with 2 of them that are on the side. Uh, they also have some cargos that come in the. This style has definitely cargo bay, so it's more long ways than tall. So you definitely once you get off the thrusters, you can throw this down towards the ground, get the nanocarbon plating off, and throw all this cargo that's in the bay just down into the barge relatively fast. So, all right, that is the breakdown of the Atlas class ship. We've got 2 more style ships to go, and our next one will be the Gecko, which is the 3rd class of ships that it will unlock. Probably the first relatively large ships that you'll start breaking down. All right, thank you for joining me.